Yeah, hi Mira.
Hello.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for making some changes in the Twitter API. Let's have a quick discussion on
Mhm.
that.
Okay.
You can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can.
Let me
And I
zoom.
see you have the latest changes, so that's good.
Yeah, I pulled the changes. Zoom it. Okay. So, a couple of things I'll tell you before we start. Uh,
Okay.
this phase, right? I was talking to Sarath as well today.
Okay.
We'll focus more on working on Twindle on CLI and Twindle Web. The priority would be
Okay.
the first priority would be Twindle-CLI. The second priority would be Twindle.wave. Twindle.wave is mostly the landing
Okay.
page, but the priority would be Twindle CLI. And couple of direction or update. We are not going to use Prettifier ESLint at this stage because it may introduce some additional layer of complexity.
Okay.
And second aspect is that we are not going to focus on much more rigorous code review like coding
Okay.
standard and that we can anyway sort it out in coming days. The first
Okay.
priority is that, right? Once we're able to run this index.js, it should work. So let's work together
Mm-hmm.
to make it work because we have some PDF code, EPUB code, and you're working on Twitter. So we'll try to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that we can able to run this Twindle CLI and able to
Okay.
fetch that
Yeah.
Twitter API and get some output as soon as possible so that will our product will be progress. And
All right.
Prettifier, ESLint, and ES6 standard, so that we can refactor any error handling, exception handling, all this interesting thing we'll do later. So the
All right. Sounds
starting, yeah, we'll just have to make it work.
good. Okay. I got rid of the package.json at the Twitter folder level, and I included the dependency node fetch in the outer package.json.
Yeah. So if few people who don't know about Node.js, what this Node.js library will
Mhm.
do?
This node fetch library is to make the fetch JavaScript function work in Node.js.
Okay, to make any API call or HTTP call.
Yes, fetch function is for making any REST API call, any HTTP request.
Okay, that's fine. So did you make any changes into this index.js?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
So I
maybe.
have an index.js inside Twitter itself, which simply calls my code. So we can copy the same code into this file. I wasn't sure where to include it here.
Maybe you can follow the same style, like here for EPUB, right? You understand
Okay.
this CLI, right? Let me explain a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Like we can change in going forward, but somebody come up with this
Mm-hmm.
thing, you can test it out. For example, node. This is an node is very familiar. Is the index. Is the program name.
Mm-hmm.
We can change it to Twindle or something like that in future. Des
Mm-hmm.
O.
Okay.
Des O means this is the option.
Okay.
O stand for output here, okay? And the file
Okay.
format and des n is the file name, I believe. We can, these are not
Okay.
finalized. If you feel more relevant,
Okay.
more appropriate, you can change. But you can start from here. It is not, as I said, I'm not interested about the naming convention. As long as it
Okay.
works, that is good enough.
Okay.
So once you run the program, des o, you can give, for example,
Mm-hmm.
EPUB will go to the EPUB product, or if you give the PDF, it should work with PDF, or you can just start with something like you introduce some different option. For example, Twitter hyphen T or something, You come up with something
Okay.
just to run.
Okay.
We can improve.
Okay. So that this program is the starting point. So in our case, for the Twitter part, I think we would need to pass the URL or the ID, right? Twitter tweet ID. Which one are we going to go with?
I'm open for both. So
Okay.
anything one is fine. If you whichever feel easy for you, This small issue, right? Decide initially, because later point of time, once it is working code, right, we can refactor, we can come and revisit, and I can give suggestion, because I don't want to be bottleneck for your thought process.
Okay. Sounds good.
So for example, here see for option output, if you see this is the flag, right, in this
Yeah.
readme file output. So if you output will go,
Mm-hmm.
it is a switch case. If somebody pass EPUB,
Mm-hmm.
then this function will call. If somebody pass PDF,
Not get called.
yeah. So you may want to introduce some other option, that is fine, or you want to use some other, like for example, Twitter, that is also fine. Do whatever you like to do,
Okay.
but I just want to run from this
Okay.
index.js, and you update this readme
Sounds
file.
good. Sounds good. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, just then let us go to your code, because what are you trying to say? Running the code, right? The reason I'm asking, I don't want to go to
Mhm.
the Twitter.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense because I wasn't familiar what was the starting point of the full program. So that's why I wrote my own index.js and I thought we could just include the call in the final index.js.
Yeah, and also like this, your README file, right? You just copy and paste
Mm-hmm.
it in the README file of this Tundle CLI. Don't create README file
Okay.
inside each
Okay.
and everything, then it will confuse.
Okay. Sounds good.
Because in the open source project, right, we have to think of a combined solution. Whoever started,
Mhm.
his job is done.
Okay.
So in the README file, right, initially you have to start, stop, build the product, npm start. Then here you can put some more information about your Twitter. Somebody will put some more. You can keep, no need to be perfect. Whatever you like, you just keep editing. Later we can refine it.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
this was the old README file. Okay.
Okay, now once you'll call this index.js, yeah, this is the starting point, right?
Yeah.
So here you are importing this two thing from main.
So now I feel that previously there was only one function which would just get the tweet URL and extract the tweet ID and screen name. Now I have a separate function which we can directly pass the tweet ID. So I didn't know what we were going to go with. So I wrote code to accommodate both. So if we are getting the full URL from the command line, then we have a function called get tweets from URL, which will basically just extract the tweet ID and the screen name. But I also have written another function called get tweets from tweet ID where we can accept the tweet ID itself directly at the command line prompt.
Yeah, that is very good thing. But you can create in the option,
Yeah,
right?
I'm not sure what. Yeah.
Either in the option, give the one option, you can implement it, but you can hide it. This idea is look good for testing, I think. So because there is no
Okay.
need to copy paste this entire thing, right?
The full URL.
But
Yes.
this thing, how can you know if you don't have Twitter ID? Is it intelligent enough to identify this thing?
Yeah, that's the last part on the URL.
So you don't need this username here, API call.
No, the tweet ID is unique. It doesn't need the user screen name.
Yeah. So for the timing, right, use this tweet ID. And in future, right, if
Okay.
you it is good thing that you implemented two thing, or you can implement one thing and go ahead. As I said,
Okay.
we just want to work end to end. That is more important, so that people will run the code
Okay.
and get more feeling about the final product. It will come to safe. Then we'll have lots of ideas and improvement into the picture. Because once it is not working, then people can't get a feeling out of it.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so this tweet ID, you are now hard coded. I don't want to go to the code. I just want to that you understood, right?
Yes.
That is
You
very
want to just
important.
execute it right now?
But I have to give the key and
Yeah.
I'll come to that. But
Okay.
make these changes immediately. But not immediately means whenever you want to work. So I don't want to go
Okay.
inside this Twitter and update the file.
Okay.
So it is a small change only, but I think it should be driven by this file. You can add option or in the program parameter only. I can, unless if you think something is not relevant, then you can remove it also. Feel free to do whatever you like to do, but the objective is that, right? I want to run from this twindle.cli, and the readme file should tell about what are the changes I need to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make those changes.
Okay. Now let's go to the little bit deep dive. So here you have
The main.js, yeah.
main dot. And don't worry about naming
So yeah, that's
convention,
where you
coding convention, other thing. Okay. As I said, we won't discuss about that again. Yeah, I think you had a little bit worry about that other concern, like coding
no,
convention, naming.
my main problem was someone else should be able to read my code.
No, no,
So that's why I wanted to.
it is very readable. Yeah,
Okay.
it looks clean, good, and there is no problem with that.
Okay.
I mean, now my focus is just to make it working, and so that I can have the people should start working, and I'll give some suggestion, and it should be usable. We should able to read the Twitter thread as soon as possible in a PDF format. At least let's start with PDF. Then we can address EPUB
Okay.
other thing later. Now Twitter API and PDF, these two are a little bit matured, right? We'll make it work, and EPUB
Yeah.
maybe we'll figure it out later. Now PDF once we generate,
Later. Okay.
then we can read PDF in our mobile application. Then you can also read, right, your own product.
Yeah.
We can pass the PDF to mail or something. So the font size we will decide like which layout we need, because A4 won't be look good into mobile application. So we need A5 size, and we'll discuss on that. Okay.
Okay.
So DB tweet lookup.
Yeah, so basically, previously I had some if-else logic for separate REST calls. Now I have broken that up and I have written separate functions for tweet lookup and search tweets. So we need to do two REST API calls, right? So the first one is to do a tweet lookup based on the ID and figure out the conversation ID of the thread.
Okay.
So that is in a separate file now. You can click under utils and see the tweet lookup. Yeah, tweet lookup request file. There's a
This one.
yeah, so basically, yeah, so this will make the fetch call. Fetch is a JavaScript function that takes the URL parameter and the request options where we pass the header authorization header into it. So you can see both the functions in the same file. The get URL basically computes the URL based on the Twitter endpoint.
Wait.
And the get request
I'm
options basically, yeah.
I'm just confused. So this is a BRA token.
Yeah.
Where is this file is available?
That is inside the same utils folder. You can see Twitter API keys file. So I've kept it in a separate. We need to change this into environment configuration. So I'm not familiar with that. We might need to do that.
Yeah, just create a ticket on that, because this is very important piece.
Okay.
That is very simple. You create a file. We don't need to be very accurate at this moment, but we need some mechanism to pass it into the somewhere outside. So you can create like
Yeah.
one property file here or JSON file here. This is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
You read from the same file you're reading here, right? Instead of reading
Mm-hmm.
from constant file, you read from JSON file. Here you create
Okay.
like don't commit it, like
Okay.
use it some kind of config
Mm-hmm.
dot json. So here you can create this API key, right? Here a token and
Okay. So
thing.
just copy that.
Whatever we got, you can copy that.
Okay. Then how do I read the
Yeah, read JSON read file fs.read file
okay
and parse it.
FS? Okay, using the FS. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So we don't need to configure it as an environment variable. That's not required.
But yeah, for this timing is not needed, but that we can create an issue
Okay.
on that, we can sort it out. But this config file in this root
All
level is
right, I'll
right.
put it in the
In the README file, you can mention whoever you don't.
okay.
If I run right, I remember to update this config file. So I'll remember not to commit it.
Okay.
But I think we have to
Sounds
restrict commit. Once we commit right, I'll put into git ignore file. There is a git ignore right, like config
yeah.
or something. We will do that. I'll do take care of it. But for the timing right, you can create this
Okay.
file and put config read it. Don't commit it, right? Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
So
So
now if you could so yeah, so the Twitter API keys file will be gone. Now I'm getting the endpoint constants from another file, Twitter endpoints.
that you can keep wherever you like.
Okay.
But I usually try to use like JSON file. This config file only if you can use, then it would be all the URL would be
Okay.
located in JSON. So instead of constant file, right? JSON file is better practice.
Oh, really? Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. So
Sounds good. So the tweet lookup, yeah. The do tweet lookup basically just makes a fetch call to that particular URL.
for this one,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
That's the function that's being called from main.js, right? So this function takes a parameter, which is the tweet ID.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the tweet ID, we are computing the URL to make the call to tweet Twitter API. And so the URL is computed and the authorization header is passed in the request options object.
Mm-hmm.
So both those functions are below in the same file.
Okay, okay. That is fine. I think I'm
Okay.
as I said, I'm not very much concerned about your API call and error handling. Nothing is important at this stage. If it is working, I'm happy.
Okay.
Now the second stage of that, the first thing that wherever the URL kept, I don't have any problem. Just for best practice, you can copy here, or you no need to copy here. Okay, that is completely optional. But the token you keep in the initial first page, so that wherever you readme file, right,
Okay.
make sure that you write at some point, like you config, you have to copy the B token and something like that. So that for running, right, it should be easy to new people. I should go here.
Okay. Sounds good.
And if there is no config, right, you should prompt me that error that BRA token is not provided. If it is XSX, make sure that you some kind of help message.
Okay. Sounds good.
And Twitter call, you've done that. So after that, are you able to call the PDF?
No, I'm writing it out to an output file. So under the output folder, there will be a Twitter API response.json file that is similar to our mock file. So there are some 5 fields: ID, name, Twitter handle, image, URL of the user,
One
and
second.
the tweet. Yeah. It's not formatted right.
Yeah. Yeah, looks pretty good. And
Yes. So
yeah.
these, I just included the ID of the Twitter into this. Previously, there was no ID field. Now I just added that attribute because this way we can keep track of how many tweets have come, what are the tweet details, and everything. So there are a whole bunch of other fields from Twitter API response that we can copy over. Like for example, if there is any image attached, any media files. But for now, I've kept it simple and I've just copied the tweet field over the text part of it.
Yeah, we can improve it. Let's have
Yeah.
that initial text is working fine. Then we can
Okay.
come up with images, other thing. This is very good. So the confusion you had with the nested structure, I think you don't have that confusion anymore.
Pardon? Can you repeat that?
Like somebody told me, like, what is his name? Tromley,
Uh-huh.
TRT. You and Tromley has a discussion, right? Like he was saying
Yeah, we
that
had a call. Yeah, so what did he tell you? I'm not sure.
because he said that conversation and Twitter reply response was very complicated. So how to convert to this simple JSON file? He was a bit
No,
confused.
I actually that was the part that was confusing for me in the other call that I heard because he kept asking you about how to format the response, and no, there was no issue with getting the tweets. That was easy. The only thing that I had to add in this logic was if the tweet ID that the user is providing is not the first tweet in the Twitter thread. Suppose that's the case. Like if in case he pastes the one of the middle tweets
No,
tweet
no, no, no.
ID, then I
Don't worry about it. See, initially,
yeah
Mira,
yeah
will expect people to do some hard work
okay
who were going to use it. We can't resolve all issues. So they will give that link of the top one only.
okay. No, I mean that I have handled that also. That was not a difficult situation. These difficult situations were in the error scenarios and other cases. So I raised issues for
No, no,
those
no.
issues.
Now don't worry about edge cases. Don't worry about the error
Okay.
cases. Don't worry about anything. I
Okay.
am more concerned about running end-to-end flow. Because see, it is not that you are working on Twitter and somebody is working on PDF, right? So once our product is
Yeah.
able to work together as a whole, then people can try it out,
Mhm.
and including me, I can try it out. I'll put into PDF and
Yeah. Yeah. This JSON file is getting outputted correctly, so that there's no issue with that. The only thing is now I need to hook up the CLI part to make sure the PDF picks up this JSON file and produces the PDF file. So that part is still not configured.
yeah, and also like JSON file is the intermediary solution because if you assuming
Yes.
that you won't get to the Twitter page quickly, so JSON you can skip it.
Mhm.
For example, in the index.html, right? You can create like you can call this Twitter API here, get the response and pass it into PDF and generate the PDF.
Oh, awesome! Because I kept thinking that we had to create the intermediate JSON
No, no,
because
no.
the Twitter
That is just to enable the parallel development.
Okay.
That is not needed anymore.
Okay, sounds good. So if you look at the Twitter utils under the Twitter utils folder, you will see a function called utils folder. Like if you open it, yeah, you'll see a file called tweetinfo.js. Tweetinfo.js. The first one, yeah. So this is the function that's writing the tweets to the JSON right now. So you want me to skip this altogether and just use the tweets variable to call the PDF function? That's what you're saying instead of this function?
Yes, yes, exactly. Because that is just kind of
Okay.
intermediate approach just to enable the parallel development.
Okay, sounds good.
That is not needed anymore because there is no need for writing into file.
Okay,
So we'll pass Twitter ID, we'll call to this Twitter API, get the response and call to the PDF and generate the PDF. So PDF will be stored into some output folder.
okay. So the PDF part, the functions have been copied over, or should I still look in the playground
No,
folder?
no, no. I already copied, but it is not. I
Okay,
have not run it, so you can see that it is very simple. You can get a hands of it.
okay.
But try to call
Because if
from
I know
this.
how it's being called, I can see it.
It is not very complicated. Like here, like see this main function reading this JSON.
Okay,
This mock data is the same structure, and yeah, this is HTML content and reading, passing this mock data, and it is generating render template. PDF is generated. Create PDF.
Okay. So see, the thread parameter is mock data, which is coming from a JSON file. So instead, I should just pass the tweets, the array that I have accumulated, right? So okay, take a look at it and I'll figure it out.
Yeah, because it is converted from JSON to here. Requirements it to convert JSON to the object.
Yeah.
So instead
So
of
instead of
yeah, you can just pass like here, like mock data,
okay.
and you pass it. I think.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the naming other thing. Whatever the name you can give it, but we'll have a dedicated review and we'll fix it slowly. You'll only fix it most of the thing. Like get a feel of it.
Okay, I can do this. I think I have a handle on this.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so the main idea you got it right. I just want to run from here so that and feel free to change anything you like into this. He's using Yark's library. That is fine as long as it's solving our issue.
Okay. So if I need to add an option to pass the tweet ID, then I need to add it here in the
Yeah, I
options.
think this object,
ONN.
yeah, this one object you to just copy it, paste it, and
Okay.
then this name or the thing. It's a library. It is just type is string
Okay.
and default is EPUB, Twitter or something. Yeah, it's very simple program.
Okay.
This
Sounds good.
few line of code.
Yeah. Sounds good, Praful. I'll work on this then because it's just some minor tweaks that I have to do to just merge the two modules.
Yeah, then what will happen? We can able to run end to end. Then we can start using it.
Okay. So
Then
can you show me a sample PDF output that has been generated by this? Do you have a sample?
yeah,
I just
sure,
want to take a
sure,
look.
sure, sure. I'll show you. And you can change it as per your wish. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule. Once it is released in open source, you can feel free to change it.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Because I just wanted to see how it looks. It's not opening.
You can able to see.
Mm. No, it says, do you want to open it anyway? It uses an unsupported text encoding.
No, just a second.
It's okay. Then I'll
No,
just
no,
take a
it
look.
is already opened. Just to give 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay. So this is how it'll look.
Yeah, we'll improve it, but it is good enough for timing. We may not need
Yeah.
images creating everywhere, and we can optimize it. But overall, it is generating PDF. So we can.
No, the only reason I wanted to look at this is because I wanted to see the image format, like the date formats. Should I make any tweaks to make it come like this? Or I wasn't sure about that. That's why I wanted to take a look
No, you
at
can
this.
change it.
Okay, I'll figure this out.
Yeah, yeah, you can change. Feel free to change anything.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Proful. Is there anything else?
No, no, all good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Proful. Take care. Bye bye. See you in the
Bye-bye.
call today.